The Big Ten is looking to expand. Will it come after a Big 12 member? From the Opubco studios in Oklahoma City, I'm Barry Tramel, along with fellow columnists Jenni Carlson and John Rohde, and this is the Press Row. Guys, you both grew up in Big 12 North Country. Jenni, you in Kansas, John in Colorado. Do you see the Big Ten coming after a Big 12 North member, primarily Missouri or Nebraska?
Barry, I remember about 20 years ago when Missouri stood on its soapbox and said, we are an institution of higher learning. We're going to the Big Ten. We're not going to do this Big 12 expansion thing. Part of me wishes Missouri would have gone. But I think I think the Big 12 is as it is. My biggest question, Jenni, is if they do get a 12th member, is it still the Big Ten, and do they have any math majors in this conference?
Yeah, because they can't take the Big 12. They can't take a team and the name of the conference. Can't do that, Big Ten. You know, I think that if they're looking to grab one of those Big 12 teams, guys, it seems like Nebraska would be the team because Big Ten, football really drives things, even in the Big Ten, much like the Big 12. I think you have to take a team that looks better football-wise. Missouri's obviously been good in recent years, but I think Nebraska fits a little bit better. I think you look at where Nebraska fan base, where it extends into, and I think it goes up into that Big Ten area of the country. So I don't know if they'll end up taking one of the Big 12 teams, but if they do, I would guess it would be they'd make a play for Nebraska.
Well, I think you're right. I think the Big Ten would probably prefer Nebraska, would probably have a better chance with Missouri. But should the Big 12 lose a member to the Big Ten, how would the Big 12 respond? Where would it look for a substitute?
I'm thinking the two that come to mind, well, the first one is Arkansas, and that's a dream because Arkansas is not leaving the SEC, Barry. But I think of two teams immediately. I think of BYU and I think of TCU. TCU, another Texas school, another private school to go along with Baylor. Maybe that would be the easiest fit, the simplest fit. So if I had to choose, I would say maybe TCU.
Yeah, and that'd be a great ad. I have a hard time believing that Nebraska will leave the Big 12. I think that there's enough of a reason for them to stick around that they won't leave. Nebraska to me seems like maybe that team that's ready to now jump out and take control of the Big 12 North in football. For years we've sort of seen this in flux, and who's it going to be? Colorado had a chance this year, we thought, in the preseason, and they fell apart. Kansas has shown signs, maybe not so much this last year. Seems like there's this revolving door in the North. Seems like Nebraska now has a chance to really stake a claim on the Big 12 North. So I have a hard time believing that they would make a jump to the Big Ten. I think there would just have to be a promise of a lot of money. So I don't see them going, and frankly, I don't really see Missouri going either. But if it does happen, TCU would be a fantastic ad. After that, I think you're looking at maybe a big step down to something like a Colorado State. So clearly I think the Big 12 would want to make a pretty strong power play for a pretty good mid-major, and TCU is definitely that team.
TCU would definitely enhance the football status of the league. It would not provide any more television sets, which is a major consideration. But if TCU was added, obviously the Frogs are in the South, good chance they'd move Oklahoma State to the north. How would I've gotten emails this week from OSU fans saying, "Hey, move us to the north, move us to the north." How would an OSU move to the north affect the Cowboys?
They'd move quickly. There'd be a parade, the biggest parade in Stillwater history. Boy, that would be great. It would have been great timing this year. Boy, I think I'm with the OSU fan. I assume the OSU fans would be in favor of that move. I'm with them. I think that would be a fantastic move. And it's a simple geographical move.
Yeah, I think they'd be all over that. Yeah, and would it sort of change some things with who you play and every year and all that sort of thing? Yeah, but obviously the Big 12 South is a landmine weekly for teams. So I think Oklahoma State, if they could see some more good chance of wins on their schedule every year, I mean, that's nothing but good. And I'd jump at that. You'd still have the benefit of being in the Big 12, but, have a much more manageable regular schedule. I think they'd do it in a heartbeat.
Two problems with OSU in the North to counter some of the benefits. One is now the Cowboys play 2 games a year in Texas, no matter what. That, I think, really helps their recruiting. They've done a great job recruiting in Texas. They'd have to reassess that. And second, how would you do the Bedlam scheduling? Would you have to play? Would you not play every year? It'd be one of the all-time great political footballs in state history. Hey, that'll do it for now. For more coverage of the Big 12, Stay with newsok.com as well as every day in the Oklahoman.